Let's go. I really got the feeling today that everything is going my way. Now this is what I'm talking about. Every time I see your smile, it makes me shout. Let's go! Let's go! Nothing's gonna stop us today. Get on the bus or get out the way. We're cruising with the radio on. So turn it up to 10. Here comes our favorite song. Let's go! Let's go! Let's go! Let's go!
Welcome to another episode of Functions Friday. It is Friday. Well, in today's episode, we're going to be talking about durable functions. But before we do that, there's a lot of excitement going on. And I'll get you details of that excitement when we come back. Okay, sound check. I'm sure sound is fine and we're all doing great. Welcome everyone for joining the channel. Well, thanks to everyone who made it to last week's Global AI Bootcamp. That was very awesome. We had a very interesting time. And I want to use this opportunity to apologize for all those who joined me on Tuesday for IoT Tuesday. We had some technical glitch at the end of our session that deprived us of our ending. And I promise to rectify that and bring you a pre-recorded version of that ending, which I will do. In today's episode, we're going to talk about durable functions. And I just wanted to make a couple of things clear. So, for the past couple of weeks on the show, I've been introducing you to the various aspects of functions. And today I want to introduce you to the last piece, which is durable functions. Now, I am doing this on purpose, and the whole idea is to introduce you to the various aspects of functions because going into 2020 or next year, or technically a couple of weeks into 2020, we will start a project-based series. So then we're going to pick a project, and then for the next episodes of Functions Friday, we'll be building that project. And once that is done, we'll pick another project and then we'll work on it using everything we've learned on functions. So that is the reason why I'm taking time to go through functions so you can see the various parts of it. Well, as you know, before we start, we have to do some updates. Now, how many of you are doing the 25 days of serverless? I must admit, I just did the first day and it's been crazy traveling, doing stuff, work has got to me, but I promise that I will be doing the rest of the days. It is fun actually, and it's actually designed to help you to understand and to pick up from functions. There are resources that you can use. Actually, let me just go to the site. This is actually the tweet. Let me bring this here so you guys can see this. So, 25 days of serverless. If you look at the official Twitter handle, they're actually on challenge 20. There's only 5 days to go to Christmas. So if you haven't started yours, please go check it out. It's an opportunity for you to learn. Look at all the days. If you go to the site, I think there's a calendar. If you look at the calendar, you can see um, all the various days and the request and the challenge for each day. Okay, now the next thing I want to talk about, where is that? Where is that? Where is that? Is let's see, how did I forget this just like that? Don't mind me, I didn't really forget it. I'm just looking for the documentation to back that up. Let's see. Let's go back here. Let's go back. Now, it's technically to talk about Azure Functions Runtime Engine 3.0 preview. Yes, 3.0 preview. If you haven't heard, if you haven't seen, yes, it's a 3.0 preview for Azure Functions. Let's see. I'm trying to find that documentation for you. Yeah, I'll find out for you. But yes, there is Azure Functions 3.0 preview available for you to check out. Yes, goodness, a lot of things in that. Awesome. Now, the next thing I want to talk about is where is that? Let's bring that here. Now, it's also updates to durable functions, which is what we're going to do today. There are updates to durable functions that we'll be talking about today. There's a version 2.1. That's the update we have. It's actually just a minor update, but with some features, some bug fixes, and all that. Actually, since we're going to be talking about durable functions, why don't we just go ahead and check that out so we all can see? Yep. So there you go, Drawable Functions version 2.10. That was kind of like really just 14 hours ago. And let's look at the new features now. Let me bring this up so we can see this. Yeah, so the new features, it allows us allow activity functions to be manually triggered in the Azure portal. Support for scheduling signal, which is aka reminders, so you can set reminders in drawable entities. There are new APIs for deleting drawable entity states via code or HTTP, which you couldn't do easily before. There are new APIs for enumerating entities via code, which we'll talk about. Custom JSON serializers that are .NET dependent and .NET dependency injection. Forgive my no, no, no. Well, and then there's some bug fixes, function support for 3.0 preview runtime. So yeah, these are just the bug fixes they've done. A few, new methods or interfaces that have been added. So hey, you can go check that out. So today, let me get my slides out. What we're going to use. Get it out. Get it out. Get it out. I should have one where I kind of like, put myself down there in the slide. So even though it's full screen, you can still see me in the corner somewhere. Yeah, I'll do that. I think I'm going to work on that. So let's do our slideshow and let's pick that and let's get right into it. So let's pull this over here. And then let me actually go full screen so you can see this. So we're going to be talking about durable functions. So let's get right into it. And for all of you watching, um, whether you're watching on Twitch or you're watching from YouTube or you're watching from how do we call it? Or you're watching from Facebook, wherever you're watching from, welcome, 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 welcome. It's good to have you on the show. We will do our best to make it worthwhile. Let's get this reset. And okay. So let's see what we have here. Awesome. Okay. Let's get this going. Let's get this going. Let's get this going. Don't mind me, right? Sometimes I just misbehave. It's normal. I'm a trouble child. Forgive me. Anyways, okay, all right. So let's get right into it. So, durable functions, all right? So, first of all, we want to understand what durable functions are. Basically, durable functions is just an extension of Azure Function, okay, that lets you write stateful functions in a serverless compute environment. So we know that Azure Functions allows us to write, functions or what we call function as a service. So we're just pieces of logic that is being executed. However, durable functions extend that feature for you to do stateful functions. Remember, functions on their own are not stateful. You will need to be managing the state for the functions and all that. But for durable functions, you actually have the opportunity, the state is managed for you and a couple of interesting things that that makes it easy for you to use. So that is what durable functions are. Also, the extension allows us to define stateful workflows by writing orchestrator functions and stateful entities by using entity functions. We'll see this um, in today's episode. So, what I want you to understand is that behind the scenes, okay, it's actually the extensions manages your state, your checkpoint, and restarts, the function for you, and that allows you to focus on your business logic and do what you have to do. All right. Um, let's see. It's quite sometimes challenging trying to combine all these things at the same time. Okay. Awesome. Okay, let's get this going. Cool. So, what languages are supported for durable functions? Okay, C Sharp precompiled classes and C Sharp script are supported. JavaScript is supported for function, but then you require functions version 2, and then durable functions version at least version 1.7, upward. Now, F Sharp precompiled class libraries and then F Sharp scripts are only supported for version 1 of the Azure Functions Runtime. However, as you know that this is actually derived from Agile functions. The idea is to support the larger excuse me is to support the larger ecosystem of Agile function languages. And just a reminder, this is how the chart is looking like for Agile functions, all the way from version 1, 2, and now version 3. All right. So if you look at it, C Sharp is generally available for 1, 2, and 3. JavaScript is available for 1, 2, and 3. But if you look at the Node versions, that's what you need to be critical about. So for 1, you need at least Node version 6. For 2, you need at least Node version 8. And then 3, 10, and 12. So these are the Node versions that are supported. For F Sharp, yes, G availability, you have a .NET Framework 4.7, but then from 2, you have .NET Core 2.2, and then 3, Functions Runtime version 3 uses .NET Core 3.1. So you need to be mindful of these requirements. Java not available in version 1. PowerShell not available in version 2. Python not available in version 1. TypeScript not available in version 1. However, Java, PowerShell, and Python are generally available for version 2. Now, for TypeScript in version 2, it's actually supported through transpiling to JavaScript. So you can write your TypeScript that is transpiled to JavaScript, and that will be accessible on the platform. Now, the same also applies to 3.0. So Java, PowerShell, Python, and TypeScript are generally available. So you have a lot of options when you want to develop your functions, your durable functions in any of these languages. Now, so what are some of the application patterns that we can use durable functions to do? Now, so we can do function chaining, and by functions chaining, which we'll see pretty shortly, we can do fan out, fan in, we can do async HTTP APIs, we can do monitoring, and then also some human interaction systems, and then an aggregator, what we call a stateful entity pattern. These are like the 6 common patterns that we use durable functions to do. Now, before we get into the patterns, there's something I want to explain now. So someone might be asking, okay, so there's durable functions, there's logic apps, and there's all that. Yes, there is a link out here that actually clarifies or allows you to determine which of the platforms to use at what time. But ideally, know that why durable functions are used to do orchestrations. Now, you could use logic apps to also do orchestrations. However, logic apps is more geared tailored towards the business user. Sorry, logic apps is more developer focused. But something like Power Automate, all right, and logic apps allow you as a business user, or let's say the ordinary user, to be able to create orchestrations graphically, okay, using a graphical option. However, durable functions will be the developers, way of tackling it, or wanting to do some customizations to that orchestration. So know how when to do that. So the first part thing we're going to talk about is the function chaining. Now, so this is how the function chaining works. This is just when a function just is executed in a sequence in a particular order, okay, and then the output of one function is applied to the input of another function. So this is like the very basic use case of the first pattern, which is the function chaining. All right, quite simple. So if you have situations whereby certain processes need to happen in order in a particular sequence, and then you are requiring the output from the previous function run to be passed as an input to the next one, then function chaining is the option for you to go with. Then fan out and fan in. All right, yeah, this is another interesting concept. So this is how it looks like. Now, in the fan out, fan in pattern, what you're trying to do is you're executing multiple functions in parallel. Okay, and then you are waiting for all the functions to finish. And then often what happens is that some aggregation work is done on the result, and then they are all returned from the function. If you look at function one in this situation, so this is the initiator, and then these functions here under F2 are all run in parallel, waiting for the result. Some orchestration or some migration is done, and then that is returned to function 3. So if you want to do a fan out and then a fan in, yes, you can do that using Drawable functions. So the third pattern is what we call the Async Http APIs. Okay, now in this pattern, we are addressing the problem of coordinating the state of technically long-running operations that interface with external clients. All right, so you will say that a common way to implement this would be, let's say you have an HTTP endpoint and it triggers some long-running job. Okay, and then you redirect. So what happens is that then you redirect the client to the status endpoint to check if that work is done. So if you look here, we start some work, okay, and then we hand that off to the do work function, and then we give an endpoint to the get status, and it keeps pulling this endpoint to check if the work, is done. So that will be an example of using async HTTP APIs, building, using Drawable functions to build them. Then the fourth pattern will be the monitor pattern. Okay, now how does this work? Now this is synonymous to timer triggers, but this refers to the flexible recurring process. Okay, so if you have a workflow and there are some processes recurring, let's say you want to pull until some specific condition in your system is met. Okay, you can use Drawable functions to also do that. You might want to say that this is equivalent to like a regular timer trigger, but then it addresses more than the basic use case for a regular timer trigger. And you can actually use Drawable functions to create, very flexible recurring intervals, that manage task lifetimes and create, let's say, multiple monitoring process for just one orchestration. So that is the monitor pattern. Then the fifth one is the human interaction. Okay, so as you can see, sometimes you have many automated processes, okay, and that some of them involve human, interaction. Now, involving in an human automated process is quite tricky because sometimes they are not highly available. Okay, and the last time I gave an example that, let's say you have a system, you are running a call center, and you are receiving kind of like negative sentiment or escalations from customers, but because the person who is supposed to probably look at it is not physically is not behind the computer, or probably not looking at the emails at that point, he might not see it. So in cases like this, you might want to go for some physical indication of something going on, or you could implement a Drawable function that has the ability to in kind of like stepping as a human to change the process flow. So an example would be, let's say, an approval process, okay, where we are requiring a manager to approve something, an expense report, okay, that exceed a certain dollar amount. But let's say that the the manager doesn't approve it because he's probably on vacation or he's not in the office at that time. Okay, what can happen is that an escalation process can kick in using Drawable functions like this, to kind of like get approval or get the process moving quite faster. Now, the final one we're going to talk about is the aggregator or stateful entities. Now, this is just about aggregating event data over a period of time, okay, and then moving this into a single addressable entity. So there's a lot of things happening, and then we kind of like aggregate all the data and everything from that particular all the activities, and then we just put into a single addressable entity that can be used later on. Now, so in this pattern, what we're doing is that we're aggregating data that may come from multiple sources, okay, and that could be delivered either in batches or scattered over a long period of time. All right, so this this will need, us to take action on every event. But then as we use this, what happens is that as the event or data arrives, it's able to connect and get all these things and aggregate them into a single spot. So what we need to understand is that behind the scenes, okay, durable functions work with durable tasks. Okay, the durable tasks framework. Now, it's actually an open source library on GitHub that is used to build workflows in code, and then Microsoft, use that to create durable task frameworks. Now, not just Microsoft, a lot of other organizations use it to do, extensive automated mission critical stuff. Now, it's also a natural fit for the serverless, environment. So that's why Azure Functions is like the serverless evolution for what Azure Web Jobs, and then Durable Functions is the serverless evolution of Durable what Tax Framework. So if we look at it this way, it makes it a lot clearer. Now, before we jump into our demo and set everything up, there are certain code constraints I want you to be aware of. Now, the code constraints, one of them is that orchestrator functions, okay, use something called event sourcing to ensure that there's a reliable execution and to maintain local variable state. They also make use of the replay behavior. Okay, so which means that sometimes code have to be run a couple of times to deliver or to make sure whatever the outcome of that logic is. However, you need to make sure that all your APIs or code are what? Deterministic. Or you work with only deterministic APIs. And what do we mean by deterministic API? It's basically an API that will always return the same value, giving the same input no matter when or how often it's called. So you need to be more centered towards, creating deterministic functions. I think I have a resource that I will share for that. Yeah, for the code constraint. So yeah, let me just throw this in here somewhere, and then that's where you can have more info about about the code constraint. All right. So now with that said, am I missing anything? Yeah, billing. So billing for Azure durable functions is the same for functions because it's just a derivative or an extension and addition to Azure functions. So the same thing, consumption, there's premium, and then you can have your own hosted environment. So let's get into the action. So now we can get rid of this. Let me bring this here. And then please feel free to ask me any questions on the stream. I will be more than happy to help you. So don't be shy. Don't be shy. Okay, so let's get into it. Awesome. Let's get right into it. Let's get right into it. So, yep, let me open my Visual Studio Code. That's what I'm going to use. You realize that for some time now we've either been using the Azure portal or Visual Studio Code. So let's do this. I have set this up. Let's go here. Let me actually put myself down there so we can see this. Let's zoom in. Not to zoom in too much, but just to give us a feel of what we need to do. Let's close this. So what we're going to do is that we're going to start to build our durable function, okay? And we'll be using JavaScript to do that. So I'm going to do that in Visual Studio Code. So if you don't have Visual Studio Code, it's a free download. Please go download Visual Studio Code. Uh, let's see. And then what's happening here? I'm not doing okay, yeah, just because I added the initial code. And then make sure you have your Azure subscription. So what I did, I came here, click this, open my Azure uh, extension with a Visual Studio Code just to get access to my Azure services, and then go to functions. And then I created a functions project, which we've seen, several times on the show. So we don't have, we can actually skip that. But if you don't know how to do that, you can go watch our previous videos on how to do that. We've shown how that happens. So okay. Ba-ba-bum. Ba-ba-bum. Bada-bada-bada-bada-bada-bada-bada-bada-bada-bada-bada-bada. Yep. So if there's one thing to know, if you what we're going to do now, we're going to look at the durable functions 1x version, but you can also do the 2x. Just that it introduces a new concept called the entity functions, which you need to be aware of. I'll try to do a write-up of that because I just want to show how to do that, but I'll try to do a write-up for that subsequently. So, yep. So what we need to do, what we're going to do, so if you look here at functions, let me close this up. Yep, so we have access to all this. If I close this up here, you see that I have my local functions here, not even deployed. So I just created a drawable demo, quite easy. Click here to create a function, a project, and then just like the way we do it, we started doing it on the show. So to create a drawable function, you need what we call the starter. Okay, so you're going to need a starter. You need a starter function, and then you need an orchestrator, and then you need an activity function. So the HTTP starter is the one that's going to initiate, okay, that's going to initiate the whole entire solution, and then the orchestrator will be the one to dispatch the work to the various activity functions. So we're going to see how to do that. So let's just get into it. So I mentioned creating a project is quite simple. We've walked through this a couple of times. So all that I did, came here, create a new project, and then browse the location where I want the project to be kept, and I choose this. So let's see. Well, let's just say for the sake of new stuff that is coming. I mean, people probably that are on the show right now, we can do that. So let's just go here and say, let's call it defunk. All right. So that's the name of the folder. So I select this folder, and then it asks me what language. We're using JavaScript, obviously, and then it's asking me what. So I'm going to use a HTTP trigger, and then I'll just call this durable, durable demo Friday. Okay, so that's the name of the function. Or let's just do this. Let's just do dd, no, df. Let's just do defunct. Okay, let's call it defunct. And then I'm going to use, in this case, I can use anonymous. I can use anything that I want. Okay, but because I'm creating the solution, I'll just go ahead and say function, and then I'll just add it to my workspace. Okay, so now what's this happening is that it's going to create another workspace for me. I didn't intend to do that, but I just wanted to show people that have not seen how this is done, so they see how we do it on okay, what's happening? Did it just split up? Okay, no, that's just a retweet. Okay, cool. So what happens is that this actually creates a scaffold of the code for you that you're going to use. Quite simple and straightforward. So right now, as we have the defunct project, and then we have the demo that I just created. So let's go ahead and do the defunct. So we're going to open defunct. All right. So we're going to start with the starter function. So let's select this, and then from here I'm going to click create a function. All right, and I'm going to put it in defunct. All right, and this is going to be an HTTP trigger. Okay, and for this one, let me call it. Let me call this. And let's call this d defunct starter. Okay, let's call this defunct starter, and then we're going to use the anonymous level. Let's close this. Okay, so we have this created for us now. Let me just save this and let me hide this so I can get the whole screen available for you to see. Okay, awesome. Let me put this here. Sweet. All right. So now we've created an entry point into our drawable function. Okay. So now let's go ahead and add our orchestrator function. Okay. So the same thing. So let's go here, and then we click here again. All right. And we're putting it in. Don't forget. I think we're putting it in defunct. All right. Let's open this and see. Yeah. Yeah. This is what we're putting it. Okay. So let's select this, and then add this. All right, so we're putting it in defunct. We select this, and then um, what we are also going to do again, this is also going to be an orchestrator. It's also going to be an orchestrator function. Okay. Let's see. Sorry, this is going to also be an HTTP trigger. All right. So let's go ahead and select the HTTP and okay, let's see. Let me go back because it's an orchestrator. Let's see. Yes, there you go. So this is going to be a durable function what orchestrator. Okay. Let's see this. Did I think we changed something here. No, so let's do this. We have an error here. Hold on. Let me close this. Let me do the starter here. Actually, you know what? Let's see if I can delete this. Uh, let's open this out. Hmm. Okay, that's fine. That's fine here. We have our in and our out. Okay, that's cool. All right. Let me change this to a bit because I think we left something out. We should have just used our HTTP starter. Okay, you know what? I'm going to just do it right in the D functions instead of defunct. So let's go ahead. Let's do this. So we're going to put it in D functions. It's a durable function starter. Okay. So we can leave the default name or we can just call ours defunct starter. Press this. Okay, and there you go. This creates our durable function starter. But before you do that, you need to make sure that let me do this. Oh, sorry. You need to make sure that you actually install the durable function npm extension, okay, to have access to this. So we create the starter function, and now let's go ahead and create it in defunct, and this time we'll do the durable function orchestrator, and then we can call it let's do this since we're trying to stick to some name. So let's do defunct orchestrator. Okay. Yep. And this creates the orchestrator for us. So if we go to our functions, we see we have the starter, we have the orchestrator. Um, I think yeah, we used anonymous for that. And then we created an orchestrator. Now let's go ahead and create our activity. Okay, let's add our activity. Now we're going to add our orchestrator to coordinate the functions. So let's now add a reference activity function. So it's the same, it's also the same thing. All right. We go back here and we select this. We're putting it in D functions, and then it's a durable function what activity. All right. So we select this, and then we can just yeah, let's just call it defunct activity. All right. Yep. There we go. So we have our what? Our starter, our orchestrator, and then we have the activity. So this could be anything. Remember, Drawable functions, you begin with the starter, the one that initiates it. The orchestrator is the one that distributes the work, to um, your function. Now that we've added all the components to start, I mean, we can now orchestrate and chain them together. So let's go ahead and do this. Um, let's go ahead and do this. I need to, and yeah, one more thing. You need to actually have a Azure storage emulator. I think I have mine. Let me check this. Azure storage. Yep, this is my Azure storage emulator. I need to make sure that is started. Yeah, because I'm running this locally before I deploy to Azure. So Yep, let's see, was successfully started. Thank you. So let me leave this down here. So that is, yeah, thank you very much. It's just telling me my emulator is started. Okay, so let's see. Let's go here. Let's look. We have, okay, so the bindings for our activity is just name. So yeah, it's just looking for a name context and it's just going to pass that out. Okay, awesome. Awesome, awesome, awesome. So now all we need to do is just, just go ahead and try it out. So, uh, let's see, where is that setting? Use development. We need to change some settings here. Mm, mm, mm. We need to change. Where is that? Okay. Hopefully, no, okay, no, this is our stuff in the cloud. Okay, so let's go here and then let's open this up. And not defunct, so I'm going to close this. Not a defunct starter. Yeah, so this is, yeah, exactly. So this is where we're working in right now. So we have the activity, the orchestrator, the starter, and then this is just another function I created. So if we go into the starter and we look at the function, this is quite it. It just tells us the instance of the starter, okay? And then if we take a look at the orchestrator, if you look at the function, yep, it's just saying, well, when this calls it, I want to, wait, yield for this first hello to this activity to happen. So we are calling the name of the activity, okay? The activity we have, if you look closely, it is called where is our activity? Yes, so this is our activity, okay? This is the name of this is our activity here. All right, so it's what? Um, defunct activity. So it's not hello. So what we need to do is in the orchestrator, we need to tell it that we are calling what? The defunct activity. All right, because that's the activity we are calling. And if you look at the defunct activity, it's expecting what? It's returning a name from that. If you call it, it's returning a name from that context. So let's go ahead and just run this out. So before then, let's go ahead and look at our local settings. So local settings, let's look at use development, where's the Azure Web Jobs storage? Yes, so we need to tell it to use the development true because we are doing a local development. So we need to set this so it knows that it's running locally. So yeah, and this technically handles it, right? Yep, this handles it all for us. Awesome. So to run this, it's as simple as let's select this. Um, I'm actually even tempted to, just drop this whole thing, but don't worry. So I can select this, all right? So it's quite simple. To test this, all we need to do is just press F5. And then, where is that? Yep. So this should start executing it. Run everything perfectly. Found no vulnerabilities. Our runtime is running. Hopefully we don't jump into any errors. Gods of Demo Day will allow us to do this properly. So keeping it crossed. Keeping it crossed, keeping it crossed, keeping it crossed. Yep, 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 yep. Yeah. So if you look at this, our starter is running, all right? And then this is the, you know, the, this is what this is what we're going to run. So I can do this. I can actually control click this, and I need to call the starter. I need to call this starter. So in this case, we are going to call the orchestrator. Let me let me just do this. Yeah, this is the name. I just want to get the name of the function. So I'll just replace it with a durable function orchestrator. In our case is what? Defunct orchestrator, because that's what we are calling. That's what we want to run. So we can either use Postman or use, curl or anything. So let me go ahead and start my Postman. I mean, I could also use REST client, which is also an extension that you can have within Visual Studio Code to do that. So, yep. Okay. Signing. We are okay. You're going to sign in. That's fine. Yep. There we go. Let me close this. Don't save. And let me go ahead. Let's go into and let's copy this. Okay. And come back to our Postman. Let's see if I can make Postman a bit, yeah, for some reason, yeah, okay, yeah, yep, actually, let me just take myself off the screen so I can make this a lot bigger for us. So I paste this in, and remember, we need to call the orchestrator function. In our case, it's called what? Defunct orchestrator. Okay, let's see, let me do a rename. No way, I'm just copying the name, nothing crazy or fancy. All right. So I put this here, and then let's send. There you go. So now you realize that. Let me see if I can bring this. Um, so it gives me the ID. Status get query tells me this is where it's running. This is the send. This is the terminate, and then so it gives me the response, okay, and the function letting me know that the orchestrator has started successfully. All right, and then it is not yet at the end, but then the response include, this URLs we are seeing. Okay, so now let's go ahead. I'm going to create another tab. And what I'm going to do is that this is telling me the process that is running. So I'm going to query the status of the orchestration. All right, so let's copy the status query one. Where is that? Yeah, this one. Okay, so let's copy the whole of this endpoint. All right, and then let's go here and let's paste this and let's see what we get. Let's run this. Now look at this. So the name is what? dbfunc orchestrator. This is the instance. The runtime status is running. No, the input is no. The custom status is no. The output is not. So it's just this gives us um, the info about it. Now, so you remember I mentioned that we needed to change, okay? We needed to change the name, the name of the orchestrator function, which we didn't do. That is why we are not seeing the results. So, cause here the output should have shown us this. So let's go back, okay? Let's go back to Visual Studio. Press Shift F5 to stop debugging. And then let's go into our orchestrator, and you see instead of hello, this is actually our activity. All right, so let me just copy the name of the function because it couldn't find the any hello activity. So this is the name of our activity. All right, that's all we do. And then let's just press F5 again, and this will just go ahead and run that whole process again. And remember, all this is running locally. All right, all this is running locally. So when I'm done and I'm tested and I feel that I'm okay with this, then I can go ahead and deploy it onto Azure. Okay, so let's go here. I'm going to run this again for the first. Good, and then just like the endpoint, we copied this. to get the status, and then it's technically being the same. So and then take a look at this. Hello Tokyo, hello Seattle, hello landing. All right. Let me zoom this in for you to see. Is that the end of it? So as you can see, so if we're going there and add another work, so this is just basic, or this is a basic um, drawable function orchestration where one particular function starts the orchestration, and then within the orchestration we call several activities. So I could have different activities. So let's go back to the code. So actually, let's do Shift F5 to stop this. So in my I could have another activity, okay, and then in the orchestrator say that, hey, this is what I'm calling. I'm calling this particular activity. All right. So let's, because we are in Ghana, I mean, for the sake of doing this, hello Ghana. Let's save this, and then hey, let's F5 again. So I could have added multiple activities. I could add an activity that queries the database. I could add an activity that queries the database, an activity that gets your queries another system to get a name for you. I could get an activity that queries to do something else, and then bring them all back into my durable orchestration. So hey, let's go back. Technically everything should be the same, so I'm just going to send this again, and that should give us the endpoint. Here should be the same, nothing really changed. And then, oh, hold on, let's see, it looks like this changed. No, that shouldn't have changed. It should have been, yeah, there you go. So hello Ghana, we have it there. So that is how to create a very simple, you know a very simple Azure durable function. So here, the next thing you want to do is that we could decide to now publish this into how do you call it? To publish this into Azure, which is quite simple. All right. All we need to do is just select. Let's go here. Let's just do this. So I show you how to do that. So let's just do Shift F5 to close this. I mean, if this is all we want, we are comfortable with it. We are like, okay, yeah, we're good to go. All right. And now we want to publish it. Yep. So let's go ahead and sign in. It would ask us to create a resource group. If you come here, I am already, I already have my account connected and all that. So what I need to do is I can go ahead, right click this. What's that? No, let's go here. Sorry. So dbfunc, let's right click here. And then where is that? Where is that? Where is that? Yep, deploy to function. All right, I can do a deploy to function up from here. All right, quite simple. And once you do that, you're done. So let's go ahead and then functions Friday node. Yes, I want to put it there because this is still a JavaScript file. All right, it's going to start to do some things and then would ask me some follow-up questions in deploying this. So let's just do that. Okay, are you sure I want to deploy functions? This will override any previous deployment and cannot be undone. Yeah, so what happens is that because it identified that I already have some functions running, and because those were done in different episodes, I wouldn't want to deploy override, but I was just showing that if this was just the only function I was working on, I was doing some kind of continuous delivery, then yes, I could deploy and override it. So let's go ahead and create another one. So let's right click this and then deploy to functions app. And then this time around, I can create a new functions app to do this. Okay, so let's go ahead and then I'll call this Funk Friday uh, Funk Friday Durable. Yeah, I think it's unique. Yeah, we'll just stick to this. And because I know my speed test gives me France Central is quite faster for me because I've used the Azure speed test and I get a very low latency, so I just want to use that one. And I'm checking to see if the quality of the stream is good. I think it is, so we don't have any problems. Yep, 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 yep. We're good, we're good, we're good. We good, we good, we good, we good, we good. Okay, so it's doing all the things in the background for me. So that's how to create a drawable function with an orchestrator and all that. Your assignment will be to follow with me and try to do with the resources I provided to go ahead and try to create the fan out, fan in, and then also to try to create the how do we call it? To try to create an async API or an aggregator or a monitor one. They're quite very easy to do. Um, so let's wait for this to publish, and once that is done, just keep an eye on my blog coming. Yes, but done. We're in the final stages, but doing some testing, and awesomeness going to happen. I mean, now since we're done with functions right now, something exciting is going to happen on Sunday. Yes, something very, very exciting. I can really guarantee you that. I don't want to spill it right now, but definitely you're going to see some creatives around that. So keep it locked right here. All right, and you won't regret it. Okay, so what do we have here? Yep, stuff is being executed, terminals being run, deploying. Okay, and once that is happening, I think I should just go ahead and open my. Um, Let me go ahead and restore previous. Okay, let me actually, yes, let's bring this here and open my. Yes, and I would encourage you, let's do this. Microsoft Learn. Microsoft Learn. Yeah, all this and more. You can find a lot of information about this. You can do actually a serverless path. So let's do learning path. Let's do Azure. And where is that? Let's see. Where is that? Where is that? Uh, let's do developer. And let me do serverless. Yep, there you go. So you can see here the three found. So this is a learning part, creating serverless application. So you can click on this and then you can do a learning path in there. You can see the learning path consists of a lot of modules. Okay, creating long running processes with durable functions, um, deploy, test, and publish Azure functions by using function call tools, deploy. So this gives you like a step-by-step learning path that if you go through, technically can even prepare you to certify. So I will encourage you to go check this out. Okay, spend some time with this, check it out, spend some time with it, and then hey, I'll be glad for you to shoot me a message or anything and tell me, hey, I've been trying to work on this functions thing and I need some clarification. I would really, really, really be honored to help you to do that. So go check that out. Okay, let's see if our portal is ready. Well, whilst we're doing that, let's check what's happening. Functions as employed, the deploy is complete. Yep. So now it says that our function is complete. So let's go ahead and open this up. Actually, let's go here and then open this up and see. Yeah. Yep. That's the starter. Yep. So if I copy URL and go here, just out of curiosity. Okay, yeah, function name and all that. Yeah, so we know this already, and then we've done this already, so that don't save. Okay, so right now we just want to check it from the portal. Yep, awesome. Okay. So let me go to my resource group. This is going to create some very funny resource group for me. Let's see. Yep, there we go. Functions, functions, and this is our functions durable. Let's open our functions durable. Okay, there we go. So you can see here we have this is the activity. All right, this is our orchestrator. And your app is currently in read mode because you're running from a package. Yeah, yeah. So right now, so there you go. This is our very simple drawable function application that has been deployed into Azure. So there we go. Quite simple and straightforward. So very simple, very simple. So that is how we create drawable functions in Azure. We worked locally, tested it, ran it with our activity, and then we pushed it. Um, I would encourage you to go check out the learning part, to go check out the Microsoft documentations, and then try to do the other ones. We talked about the finding, find out, we talked about monitor. So just go check that out and try to create those ones. I'll try to follow up with another blog post on those ones, but just give it a try and see how that works. And if you're stuck, don't forget you can always reach out to me, hey, to help you out. Well, like I'm mentioning, make a day with me this Sunday. This Sunday you don't want to miss because something exciting is going to happen on this show. Till then, I have been yours truly, Samuel Adranyi, bringing you Functions Friday. It's a weekend. Have fun. Be safe. Happy holidays. And in the spirit of Christmas, Merry Christmas to you all. From me to you.